Today, I'd like to, I'll be bringing up Chief William Tokajer. He's the Holmes Beach Police Chief. And so Bill was born in New Jersey, then went to high school in Sarasota, and then moved back up north. He joined the Army in Fort Dix, New Jersey. You met your wife there, right? And then moved back to Florida, worked at the Sarasota County Sheriff Department, and then 26 years with the Bradenton Police Force. And then you retired. You were done with it. I'm going to retire. Just sit back and relax. He's laughing already over there. Then out of retirement as captain of Longboat Key Police and now chief of the Holmes Beach Police Department since 2013, working on 13 years over there. You've got a very long list, very nice bio, very, you've done very well through the years. We're glad to have you out in Holmes Beach. Come on up if you would, Chief, and tell us about what's going on out there and the aftermath of the hurricanes.
Hello, everybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some videos and some pictures and talk to you about the devastation that happened on the island, but I want to start by saying it's not what it looks like now. We are back open. Our businesses are open. Our residences are back out there. Our vacation rentals are up and running, and we are full of people. It's been busy summer so far. So we're happy to see that everything's come back and everybody was, I would say that probably 90% of the people rebuilt. And all of our businesses are, pretty much up and running. It was devastating, but we'll go through the information here. I'm going to show you some videos. This is the Gulf and the public beach. So that is the playground that you see at the public beach. Notice the waves in the background and how devastating they were. Mother Nature was crazy for us. This is a rescue. My officers were out in the Hummer going to rescue people that did not heed the warning of leaving. We had an unexpected amount of surge from Helene. It was crazy. It was not what we had expected. We expected the same thing as Irma. When Irma came and hit us, woo, I'm a hand talker, it stayed about 3 feet away from the police department. So we stayed for Irma. So I decided that we were going to stay for Helene. Biggest mistake I've made as a police chief. I apologize to my officers. We were stuck in the building for 2 days with water all around us. This is Gulf Drive on the outside of the beach. As the water came over the roadways, you can see a trash can that was out on the beach that's been moved out to Gulf Drive. And that just shows you the power of Mother Nature. So we ended up with over 3 feet of water around our police department. The entire island was covered in water. We had between 3 and 4 feet of water in most of our single-story homes and residences and businesses. If you see the word police, you'll see that this wasn't the height of where it got. That's my officers. In the background, you could just barely see that the word police was covered by the water as it came up. We had 28 inches of water that came into our police department garage. It did not get into the police department itself because we're up a little higher, but our garage was, and everything in our garage, including my car and the 7 cars that we had along the police department, not realizing the water was going to come in that fast. We actually thought that the water would be, a lot less, so we brought the cars up to the high ground at the police department, and we intended to go and put them at the fire department, which they've got a lot higher ground, but the water came in so fast that by the time we got ready to go and move the cars, it was too deep for us to move our vehicles. This is a rescue we did in the middle of the night. We had people, that house that you see in the background is completely on fire. I called my friend Ben Rigney and I said, buddy, we got a house fully evolved. What do we do? He says, let it burn. He says, there's nothing we can do. So I sent my team out there with this, our rescue people and the high water vehicles that we had to make sure there was nobody in the house. We found that the people had already exited the house and went across the street. And we watched as the house burned, and that was pretty much the last rescue that we did that evening. And then you have the coming back in, the first in teams. So after the storm passes and the water goes down, we have what we call first in teams that come out and we clear the roads. And that's part of our police department, our public works, our fire department, FP&L. We go and we clear the roads. We make sure that everything is passable. We put up blockades where we have to. And you'll see the devastation that we encountered. We actually had the Florida Highway Patrol that came out to assist us at the beginning. Right after Helene, I had help from the Highway Patrol. I had help from Bradenton Police. I had help from Palmetto Police, New College Police. Manatee Sheriff Department loaned us 6 cars because ours were devastated. And when we saw that Milton was coming, we knew that we couldn't do local help now. We had to go far and wide. So I reached out to the Florida Police Chiefs Association, and they asked me what our needs were. I told them that I needed 30 people, 15 day shift, 15 night shift to help police the beach and to help us with what we were doing for re-entry when people come out. Now, we learned that words matter, okay? We learned the difference in saying there's a curfew rather than a checkpoint. Because at first we said that there would be a curfew after 5 o'clock at night. What our intent was not to make people leave the island. We were just telling people, if you're not a resident or business owner, you're not getting back out here after 5 o'clock, and then we lengthened that to 7 o'clock. But what we noticed by saying curfew is everybody was lined up at 3 o'clock to leave the island, and it was gridlock. It was just crazy. Everybody thought that they had to be off the island. So we quickly got messaging out. This is the first group that came to help us after Milton. We had 32 officers that came down from Pensacola area. The Pensacola Beach chief called me and he says, we'll be there right after Milton passes. He says, I've got 32 officers, I've got my own cooking staff, I've got my own showers and toilets and laundry facilities, their own cooks, and they came and they set up a base camp at our place, and they were there for about 4 weeks. That's their base camp. They were out working, not just with us patrolling and cleaning the streets, but they went into the residential areas. They brought their own chainsaws. They brought their own vehicles, their own four-wheelers, and they went in the residences and asked people, hey, do you have something that needs to be cleaned up? We're here to help. So they were a true partner for the city and for Holmes Beach. And you could see them out there working, and they're grilling. That's the chief over to the left, all the way to the left next to Vern, and that's Captain Billy. And Captain Billy was there. The chief came down when the group came first into town, and Captain Billy stayed with me for the whole time he was there. And then they were replaced by Coral Gables after that, a Miami contingent. And that was great having the people that came and helped us. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to do it. I have a very small police department, 19 sworn, which means that a normal day, I have a sergeant and 2 patrol officers. Okay? You cannot do 2 checkpoints with 3 people. Okay? We knew that right away. That was not going to work. So we had people that came out and they did a great job. That's the Coral Gables contingent that came down with their command post. This is after Milton. Helene was a water event for us, but Milton was a wind event. Milton was devastating to our infrastructure for our power lines and took down a lot of trees, ruined our roads. Our roads looked like we were up in Michigan and the snow was plowed on the sides. That's the mayor asking me if she wants me to hold the camera while I drive. This is what our neighborhoods looked like while people took everything they owned that was on their first floor and put it out at the end of the yard. It was just devastating to watch and to see. It brings back sad memories. But you can see everybody had everything out at their yard. And what we learned very quickly was before Milton was we told everybody to put everything out front. Okay, then Milton was coming and we knew Milton was going to be a wind event. So we had to get with the state and make sure that they came and cleaned our major roadways all the way through the city so that we had an evacuation route and a reentry route from our major roads. We didn't have them go up and down the side streets, but like Gulf Drive, East Bay Drive, Manatee Avenue, we had them come and pick up everything that was on those roads so it didn't become projectiles. Now think of how sad you would be with all of your belongings being at your end of your front yard, and then you have people that want to come to the island and pick through your belongings and what was left of your life. It was just devastating to people. We got a lot of people that called. This is a hotel room. That shows you how devastating it was. It pushed in the windows. If you look in the back there, you'll see the couch, the refrigerator. That's a 10-foot ceiling. When I stood in there, my head hit the fan. That's how much sand went into that hotel. And that hotel had just finished renovating. They did a great job. But the good thing was that we learned that there's a lot of love out there. We had a lot of people that were calling us and saying, hey, what can we do? Can we bring you some food? This is a group that came down from Louisiana. And they said that they could feed for us for 6 days, 200 to 300 people, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So all they needed was a place to set up. So we did that. That's another lesson that we learned was about how words matter. Because we put in a request to have meals provided for 300 people for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay, for 7 days. So we get a call, your meals have been delivered. We put it in the Benderson Shopping Plaza. So we go down there and we found an 18-wheeler that was full of meals, pallets of meals. In our minds, we were thinking somebody to cook meals and hand meals out. We weren't looking for more work, but what we did was we took the pallets out and we went through the neighborhoods and we put them on our four-wheelers and our side-by-sides and we delivered meals throughout Holmes Beach. This was the first hot meal that my Sergeant Tommy and Officer Christine had in a week because we were devastated. Operation Barbecue Relief came out and they fed us for a week, not just first responders, but they fed everybody that wanted to eat. They were a great organization. And here again, they called me and they said, hey, do you have a place we can set up? We're going to cook for you and we'll cook as much food as you need. And they brought their own, not just pre-made meals, they were cooking right there on site with their huge grills and distributing the food. That's a group of them with me. And this is the next thing that we did was we realized when it's time to stop giving away free food. When the businesses are ready to open up, we said it's time to give them some business, and we stopped having the free food. And this is Hurricane Hanks, and they called us and said, we want to do a first responder day. We're back up and running. So they did that, and we opened up for Guy Fieri, came and cooked for us. He brought, that's my lovely wife there, married for 43 years, 44 in December. That's some of our Jacksonville crew. They were the third crew that came down, was from the Jacksonville area. Guy Fieri had this trailer made for first responders, for the fires out in LA, for the hurricanes here, for the devastation in Texas and things like that. And he has a foundation and he put together this trailer. Now I think he's up to 3. And this was his first one and he brought it to us first and fed all the first responders and everybody else that was out there. And we were feeding FP&L people from Pike, from all the different companies that came out. FP&L was a great partner. They really were very quick to get the power back up on the island, and we were very happy to see that. That's me and the fastest way to get around Holmes Beach. That's what I'm on every day. I've got a nice police car that I drive to and from work, and then I get on my four-wheeler, and I'm out in the streets every day talking to people and out on the beach and meeting and greeting, and this is what I was doing during the storm. All right, thank you guys for having me out.
We have a golden roller. It's a Kiwanis tradition to present you with a golden roller to measure your future success.
Oh, very good, thank you.
Hopefully you don't use it to measure anything else this summer.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thank you so much. All right, join us next week. Our guest speaker will be Omar Edwards with the school department. Have a wonderful day. Meeting adjourned.